Okay, so picture this. You're in the middle of Hollywood Boulevard, you've got your overpriced cold brew in one hand, your Superman #1 reprint in the other, and you're trying to wrap your head around the fact that James Gunn just dropped a Superman movie that actually works.
I've seen Superman. This is the movie the world needs right now.
Not only does it launch the new DC universe, but it also manages to honor the big blue Boy Scouts legacy in ways that got even my jaded fanboy heart feeling all warm and John Williamsy inside. Yeah, they actually used Williams' 1978 Superman theme, but not in the cheap nostalgia bait way you're thinking. Nope. This was a remix, a reimagining, a collaboration between two composers who apparently weren't afraid to mess with the holy grail of superhero music. And as a guy who's been listening to movie scores since I was 12 and too broke to buy popcorn, I'm telling you, the behind-the-scenes story of this score is just as wild as the movie itself. So how did Williams become the third composer on Gunn's Superman?
There's a lot to dig in here, man.
So here's how it went down. First in the chair was John Murphy, Gunn's go-to guy, the dude who's been in the creative corner since the Suicide Squad. Murphy starts writing music from the script stage, like Gunn's literally playing it on set to actors, which is so Gunn. And pretty early on, Gunn drops the bomb. Hey, what if we use the John Williams Superman theme? Cue the composer ego alarm. Murphy's like, normally no composer wants to touch another composer's work, but this is John Williams. This is Superman. This is the musical equivalent of Excalibur. So he starts experimenting, and I mean really experimenting. Gothic version, doom version, punk version, even a romantic opera version with Anna Schubert. He calls the punk one outrageous and jokes about going to composer hell if anyone ever heard that. What we got in the trailer? That was his guitar-driven rock-infused twist on Williams' theme. Imagine sending that to William himself. Murphy literally said that it's like mailing your script to Shakespeare. No pressure, right? And then enters David Fleming, who broke it down to build it up. After Murphy's initial work, production kicks in, and David Fleming jumps on board, fresh from The Last of Us and bringing that emotional storytelling heat. His mission? Take the DNA of Williams' theme, break it apart like Lego pieces, because here's the thing. Gunn's Superman isn't the guy in the red cape. He's more vulnerable, more Clark than Kal-El. Fleming kept the iconic opening bars for action beats and even snuck them under the DC logo, but the real magic? He slowed down the back section of Williams' piece, those beautiful chords, and layered them over rising progressions. Gunn apparently got emotional in the meeting, and he said, that's when it hit me. They weren't just slapping the old theme on top, they were bending it to fit a story. Then comes the Lois and Clark theme that wasn't. I personally love the original theme from Superman 1978 called Can You Read My Mind by John Williams.
Can you read my mind?
I mean, it's awe-inspiring and perfectly captures the feeling of falling in love with someone like Superman and how exciting, scary and beautiful it can be. Murphy also tackled the Lois and Clark theme and thought he'd nailed it with this big, sweeping golden age of Hollywood melody inspired by the original theme, and personally, I was looking forward to something like that as well. But Gunn, he fell in love with Murphy's backup idea. This filtered guitar, Sigur Rós style, modern and understated, and honestly, it works. Lois and Clark are still figuring each other out in this movie. You can't drop a "we've been together for decades" love theme for the first coffee date. And then we've got Justice Gang, Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl, who come off like a corporate assembled pop group. Fleming literally called them the Spice Girls of superheroes. They've got their own theme, cocky, self-aware, with big rock drums and kind of music Guy Gardner hums in his head while brushing his teeth. And that's classic Gunn, using this ridiculous, status-obsessed theme to make Superman's sincerity shine even brighter. So why does this matter? This isn't me just geeking out over chords and motifs. This is James Gunn making music part of the character. Williams' theme is as iconic as the S on Superman's chest. By reshaping it, Gunn's showing us that his Superman isn't about living in the shadow of past versions, but he's not afraid to share their light either. I have seen studios botch legacy characters so many times it's practically a drinking game now. But this felt different. The score didn't just honor the past, it evolved it. And in a franchise that's starting over from scratch, that's exactly the kind of balance DC needs. Now excuse me while I try to hunt down the punk version of the John Williams theme for research purposes. This is Ish Goes Hollywood, and I'll see you in the next deep dive.